Welcome students to this Excel Maths online classes. We have this live chat between 6 to 7 every day. If necessary, we'll extend also. It's just a one-to-one contact. So you can ask any of your doubts, clarifications, any sums. But we request to make it between 8th standard and 12th standard. Any syllabus, any doubts you can ask. We'll try to work out and upload them next day. And we welcome everyone. So we are having certain topics. I think welcome. Okay. Okay. Welcome Abigail. And she was asking about histograms and frequency polygon. So maths in everyday life, even a histogram is something to be a maths in. Thank you. Abigail. Okay, histogram is also a maths in everyday life. So you can ask maths doubts from 8 to 12, anything. So histogram is also, you're asking it. Okay. Now, coming to maths in everyday life. Maths, I was telling it is about allergy for many of them. Out of 100 students, more than, not even you can say 50-50, at least 60 to 70, they're not so much well versed with mathematics. Two or three reasons is, for example, in physics, chemistry, and all, they can write and see, they can mug up a definition, they can write the formula. So your first student will get some 98 or about 95 in physics. Even a student who's supposed to be weak, who can't understand the topic, she'll write and see the definition and other things and the drawing in biology and all. She'll be getting around 80, she'll be satisfied. Why many have a problem with maths is there'll be a major difference between the first mark and the last mark. Some students will get even single digits mark, 20 marks, who worked hard. Because I told you in mathematics, if the first step, if you make a simple mistake, they'll cancel it. I told you an example also, 4 threes are 12. 4 into 3, if you multiply, you get 12. By mistake, you put 11. It's a simple mistake only. But what they do is actually, they'll try to cancel the whole sum. And about rational and irrational numbers, what are they? I'll just explain to you. If you want tonight, we'll try to upload. These kind of sums, we want to work out some basic things, try to extend this another half an hour. Now we have attached the board. We use the camera so that we can see the board which you attached. So rational numbers. What are rational numbers and irrational numbers? Any number which can be written in the form P by Q is called a rational number. Any number which can be written in the form P by Q, that's a fraction. Or a number having a numerator and denominator is called a rational number. Okay. And generally denoted by symbol Q like that. So you may ask whether it's only fraction. For example, a number 10. 10 is supposed to be a whole number. See, these kind of number theory are divided in various things. Natural numbers, whole numbers, then rational numbers, then we find what? Integers, irrational numbers, and even what? We find these kind of numbers. Now coming to rational number, it can be written in the form of P by Q. Welcome Visual A101. Thank you for joining us. Okay, now a rational number is the one which can be written in the form of P by Q. P is supposed to be numerator and Q is supposed to be denominator. So they don't use the word fraction because I'm fine, sir. How are you? So how things are going on? Okay. Very happy to join. You can actually one or two. You can tell us some suggestions if you're not. I mean, this live chat is a little boring or anything. You can use some topics so you can be a part and parcel of this discussion. We are very happy you joined us and tell us some suggestions to improve our thing. So coming to the question of a rational number, P by Q. So it's exactly they won't say a fraction. Of course, it will have a numerator and denominator. To explain more aptly or correctly, take a number 10. So I was telling 10 is called a whole number or a natural number. Okay, 10 is also a rational. 10 means you can write as 10 by 1. So any number can be written as 10 by 1 is also called a what? A rational number. Okay, it's not necessary 3 by 5 is a rational number, which can be written in the form. A number, for example, 0.1. 0.1 is a decimal, which is nothing but 1 by 10. You can write as 0.1, you can write as 1 by 10. So these are called rational numbers. And a general definition of an irrational number is a continuous number which goes on 10 by 3. If you divide 10 by 3, you get 3.333. It will go on. So these are called irrational numbers. So they put 3.31 dot. If you put also, it will continue. Okay. And generally together, these rational numbers and irrational numbers are called as real numbers. Real numbers is the whole numbers. All numbers in the world are called real numbers, except for imaginary ones, which you find higher classes. Root of -1 is called imaginary one. They are called by the word I. So in the number field, you find rational and irrational. So hope you understood. A rational number is the one which can be written in the form P by Q. 10 by 3 is also rational, but 10 by 3 is irrational, where it goes on 3.333, it doesn't end at all. 5 by 2 is 2.5. Even 10 is a rational number. Even 5 is a rational number, 5 by 1. Even 0.1, you can write as 1 by 10. Any decimal can be converted into a fraction. Any fraction can be converted into a decimal. They are interlinked. In fact, sometimes it's easy to work out with fractions. If you know the LCM concept very well, then sometimes decimal is also easy. It depends upon how you tackle it. Okay, and coming to this maths in everyday life, a lot of topics we were having in maths. So I was telling one interesting story. Why maths is a problematic is you can see in any class, your class also. Science somehow they get through. Nobody will say I have a problem with physics. Probably getting some high marks like that student, this student is not possible. But in the case of mathematics, they work very hard. So sometimes they feel sad when they see the answer sheet. The mark will be very low. I still remember we used to keep in home tuitions. Even now in Google Meet also, when you keep regular classes, we used to keep tests. So I used to ask the student. She'll say, "Sir, I understood you teaching well. Sometimes they'll ask a lot of doubts, so they make me happy. So when you keep a test, what will happen? I'll keep a test in maths, physics, and chemistry. I told you in home tuitions we teach maths, physics, and chemistry. If somebody wants home tuitions, you can tell us. We teach in East Bangalore. You can contact or email. But now because of this pandemic spreading COVID-19, it's not advisable to myself coming or yourself keeping me. So we'll wait and watch how things change. But don't forget there's home tuitions also, where we teach maths, physics, chemistry from 8th to 12 of all syllabus. So coming to this maths, why maths is helpful? What about maths in everyday life? Why maths is a unique subject? It's generally so. What happens when you ask a student physics, chemistry? Somehow they get through. They mug up, they write and see. Whereas maths, if you can't understand number one. So I was telling about one girl. She said she gave and wrote me one test paper. I have to correct and give it back. I simply asked her how much she will get it. Generally, we give 6 to 12 tests before the 12th standard exam because 12th or PU, whatever you call it, higher secondary, different states call it different names. Higher secondary PU and 12th are very important. They keep me regularly because they have to join for higher courses like medical college, engineering college. Some wanted to join what aeronautics, like that. They have some plans in life. So 12th is a very important one. So we also, teachers also give importance, school also give importance in 12th. So for example, uh, if 11th standard, they'll be having a lot of extracurricular activities, college day, this day, that day, parents day, students day, that day. And 12th, they'll be very strict. Even for an excursion for a 12th standard students, they'll take in the first term itself, because the students should concentrate on the studies. Otherwise, if some gust comes to the school under 11th standard student, they'll use it. Or ninth, they'll use it. 10th and 12th, they don't disturb, because the school wants the result for it. So coming to this girl, she's very good only. She said, I asked the first test I gave in mathematics. In Tamil Nadu, it's for 200 marks, maths. So I asked her how much you'll get it. And she said, sir, I'll get minimum 190. I laughed because I'm in the field. It's a good thing only. Sir, 100% I'll get it. So when I corrected the paper, it came to 110 marks. Lot of mistakes, simple mistakes. The simple mistakes can be, corrected only if you can do lot of what test. So when I gave the paper, she was shocked. No chance at all, sir. Then she began to shout like anything. Oh, this mistake I made. I know pretty well. Multiplication mistake, formula mistake. A plus a minus b the whole cube. A minus b the whole cube is actually a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b and minus 3ab square. So a cube minus b cube, one of them will be plus 3a square b and minus 3ab square. So what happens? She put the plus and minus ulta. So like the simple mistakes, it cost heavily. Maths will cost you heavily. That's not the case in physics and chemistry thing. And Deepak Samson Raj, welcome to the classes. So she got only 110, she became dull. Then she said, sir, I won't get good marks in the final exam. I said, you try to appear for six, at least half a dozen tests. And so slowly from 110, she came to 120, 140. And when she did the last paper, she was so interested, she understood. Some of them obey the teachers, whether it's a tuition teacher or a school teacher or taught by the parents. Obedience is very important for any subject, including mathematics. You have to listen, you have to obey. And so finally, she used to get around 190 when he kept the question paper. She got around 196 in the final exam. That because of some overconfidence. So why I'm telling all the stories, maths is the one many actually what hate in the sense what whatever they try, sometimes they feel bad they're not getting the what they worked hard, they tried some lot of sums he worked outside, but yet when he saw the answer sheet, we were little dull. But that's not the case with physics, chemistry, or social studies, history, geography, civics, anything. Where you work out, you get some high marks, so that is repaid, we get a reward. But what happened in the case of mathematics? Many they say when they see the answer sheet, oh, it's so poor, I got it, I worked so hard. But they make simple mistake. Then in maths, there's no bargain. I was telling you about physics, about acceleration, meter per second square. If you put meter per second, you get half mark. Meter per second square, if you put, they get give you what? Full 1 mark. If you write the formula, a diagram, everything you fetch you mark. That's not the case in mathematics. A simple mistake of 4 into 5 is 20. If you put some 21 finished, you're collapsed. They fully cancel it. So, but in fact, maths is a very challenging subject. So, what you do is in the case of mathematics, you have to work out hard. You must take it as a challenge. In fact, I was telling about some students plan about thank you, Vishal A101, for your appreciation, for your commendation. So you can just tell if well wishes, neighbors, your group. If you have a group, thank you very much. So one student said, "Sir, I hate maths, but somehow teach me maths." They said, "You're good." So they came for home tuition. He was very weak. I asked him why he was so particular with maths. He said, "What to do, sir? I want to do aeronautics." Similarly, one of the students also said, "I want to do marine engineering." So aeronautics and marine engineering and all, maths is needed. So I said, sir, I want to become a pilot, I want to become an aircraft engineer. I want to join the ship. I like ship. So this kind of fields and all, there's compulsion, but maths is not coming, sir. What to do? So you cannot avoid maths or you cannot throw away throughout maths. He'll say, if he said physics, chemistry, no, sir, I'll manage it. I'll get high marks even if you want to be teach also. Yesterday or tomorrow also we are starting for our 12th standard students in Google Meet. There's a regular coaching for 12th standard Karnataka state syllabus. I said I'll start with maths. You should not teach. She said what physics and you should not teach maths first because maths they're very much worried. So this is the main thing. So maths is the one which we cannot avoid in life. It's very much useful. Aerospace, aeronauticals, and then what? A lot of things involves maths. Without maths, you can't do it often. So especially the foundation should be strong. So in everyday life, we are just speaking about maths. So your foundation should be good. So my advice is this: it'll come off if you work out. A little efforts you must put it. So I was telling about students till fifth standard, they get marks, and after ninth, tenth, and all, they'll be struggling to get marks. So what will happen actually is when you go high in the ladder, maths you have to put more efforts, more time. You have to spend more time. You have to work out more things and more guidance. Okay. So what I suggest is don't go to hard sums immediately. Go to sums which you step by step you go. Thing. Some may be bright and intelligent. Some may grasp it very fast, but everybody won't be brilliant. So if you work out, it will come off actually. So more you work out, it will come out actually. And even physics, chemistry, you have to apply mathematical formulas. Differentiation, calculus, I was telling. Algebra is still 10th standard. After 10th standard, algebra will come, that will take on side road, service lane. It will go in service lane. A thing called calculus will come, which is applied change in life, rate of change. That calculus will come in all fields of life, physics, chemistry, or whatnot, everything that will come. So that is a part of mathematics which you have to work out and study. So this physics, chemistry, everywhere you find this calculus. So even if you want to do science school, the basic of mathematics is very, very important if you want to get high marks. And if you want to get in entrance, if physics, chemistry, even if you go for some medical entrance, you may say that it's only physics, chemistry. That is true. There are a lot of mathematical applications in physics and chemistry. So there should be a foundation. There should be an above average level to apply for these things. Deepak Samson Raj, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Uh, Thanks, madam, for asking about rational and irrational. As I said, next week till this classes, I mean this live speech is between Monday and Friday, 6 to 7. And next week, if possible, we'll try to connect the board and do some small sums because we can't clear the doubts. Suppose if you ask for 12 standard sum, ISC student, if you ask the sum, if you clear it here, others will run away. And even other 12 students can't understand a lot of syllabuses. That's why we said we'll upload the thing. And you can press the like button and you can subscribe the channel if you like it. You can also press the bell button for any future notifications we put it actually or any updates. And also you can refer this to your friends, neighbors, and well wishers. You can do it. And you can ask some doubt. You can put in the comment box or an email. Also, you can contact us. And coming to maths again, uh, and the greatest secret I can tell you is even teachers are not 100% thorough in maths. You can't say like that. There are humpty number of problems, immense of problem. If you take 12th standard topic called probability, all sums you can't do in probability. Some sums need some wisdom. So uh, even a professor has to refer something. Say I've got a lot of books in mathematics. When you go out of stations, I go to old bookshops and buy maths books and physics, chemistry books. Whether I go to Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, Hyderabad, and from old students also collect the books. So when I get a doubt, I take the correct book. So that's a main thing. Once a lawyer daughter came for an entrance exam, so some doubts I had because the entrance and all. So every sum you can't do immediately. Sometimes they work out in the night, still get stuck up. The particular answer. There are a lot of entrance. IAM, IIT, NIIT, NEET and all. Millennium KAD Lifestyle. Thank you, Millennium, for joining us. You can also give us some ideas if you find this talk not interesting. So my man was a lawyer. He just brought his son for the entrance. I was teaching. So one son got stuck up. So I went in the thing and took that one particular book and checked it and got the answer. So he was asking, sir, how you found out that particular book? I have seen when I went to his house, being a lawyer, a lot of judgments will be there in his house. Supreme Court lawyer. He was actually in Chennai, and he was having what judgments from Odisha, Delhi judgments, Supreme Court judgments. He'll take a correct book and refer some judgment. I told him, just like you sir refer judgments, I'm in this field. I'm referring maths. So it's not a major deal. It's not a wonder to do this one. So he was actually appreciating. So going to entrance and all, I told you on the other day, you have to wait. If you're not so this thing, you can. Many schools they say you join immediately. If you learn entrance, you can learn school syllabus easily. That's not 100% correct. Out of 100 students, 10% can overcome that. If they learn the entrance, this will be what like a lower level for them. But for 90%, if you go on entrance, if you try to learn this, you'll collapse. It's just like driving a car in the highways. First, you have to drive a car or a bike in a locality. Everybody can't become a professional driver directly. Some of them are very smart. So some of them, their father would have got a car, so they would have gone in the car with the father. The father will say, "Park this, my son." Sometimes the father will take to some park and give it. They may become professional immediately. So like that, I'm studying for the entrance and the school exam running simultaneously is not mostly advisable if you're a little weak. You can wait till at least quarterly or halfly. At least you must know what is the subject, two or three topics. Many, when I go for 12th standard, they say, sir, can you start 10th? It's very hard to convince them. They say that master has started, this master has started. When I ask the student a simple sum, she'll be struggling. What is the difference between acceleration or what's the difference between speed and velocity? Speed is a scalar quantity and velocity is a vector quantity involving magnitude and direction. A simple point she won't say. But the parents will say, what, sir, you must teach entrance, sir. That master is teaching. My my friend's daughter is going there. She may be smart. So sometimes you have to agree with the teacher what she says. That's why I said even if you go for a help for your friends who are very intelligent, always follow the teacher. They know your standard. They know your psychology. They know your capacity, your individuality, everything they know. What is your this thing, mindset? That is why obey the teachers first. So don't think that teacher is not concentrating. Maybe she's concentrating that. Out of 40 or 50 students, she cannot be concentrating mainly on. She's answerable to the institution. Many students should come in flying colors, or the institution name will get spoiled. Thing. So still, I remember when I was working in a school, my correspondent had some 5 schools. He'll call me and say, Mr. Samuel, work out all the sums in the exercise in the board. Work out all the sums in the exercise in the board, whether they understand or not. I asked, what you're telling, madam? She told me, the parents should not come and say that the particular sum the master teacher didn't do, they referred a guide. There should not be a complaint, Mr. Samuel, that the parent should come and say that refer that some master didn't do. I referred the guide. I couldn't understand. So she used to say, please work out all the sums in the book. There should not be a complaint like that. But the stories I am telling about this is not, they say they're yesteryear stories, stories of 1970s and 1980s and 1990s. I got more than 30 years experience in this. But nowadays, what they do, they work out 5 or 6 sums and they ask to work out as homework. These complaints come. So out of 100 students, at least 60, 70, they work out, 40 get stuck up, they go to the guide, they get irritated. And this process goes on. They can't understand, they just copy 10 sums, tomorrow 5 sums, next day 3 sums, and the topic collapses. This is what happens actually. So maths is the one, it's a practical in life. More than classroom, you can learn more outside. I was telling about each tape, some crafts you can do, crafts and all. I've seen a lot of housewives. They're doing beautiful crafts. They have this inch tape and they do it. Some crafts are so beautiful. They're not very good with the inch calculation, converting inch into centimeter and centimeter into meters and all. But they just see a video and do it. That's the interest and the challenge they have. So more you can learn it from outside thing. A lot of things I was telling about dealing with maths in everyday life. So as I said, maths, if you want to come out in flying colors, if you have some dream of becoming an aeronautic engineer or a marine engineer or even a computer engineer, basic maths is needed, which you can't avoid it. Even if you want to become a doctor, the fundamental calculus is needed for physics and chemistry. We have to work out calculus is applied in all fields, I said. About calculus, you can ask questions if you're in 11th and 12th. Some syllabus, international syllabus, starts calculus from 10th standard. Calculus is the one which comes in higher standard, which is used in all fields of life. Calculus is nothing but change in life, things. Everything changes in life with respect to time or with respect to a particular thing. Calculus is used in biology also. A small insect also increases or decreases. These kind of concepts are used in calculus. We call it as differentiation and integration. It's a very big topic which you have to learn in higher studies. So you can tell your well-wishes neighbors, you can join it, and again repeat any doubts you can ask. So to make this more interesting, you can ask questions like this: What is rational and irrational? We'll try to connect with the board from next week because we've made arrangements. We got one cable to connect to the camera to put the board so that we can just simple sums will do it. Simple things to uh, make it more understand. Yesterday I was telling a story about a square. So square has got three or four concepts. A perimeter. Square means all four sides are equal. That's called a square. You learn from fourth standard, third standard. This show diagrams. Abhishek Raj, welcome. Important chapters in 10th standard examination point. If you learn important chapters, is good actually. I don't think you're going to stop your studies with 10 standards. So better learn all the chapters. Anyhow, it's better to concentrate some chapters which you get marks. I told you yesterday, mark scoring is very important. Okay, they say the patient died. In operation success, the patient died. So mark scoring is very important. At the same time, you must try to learn all topics because you're going to higher classes and college education. So the important chapters means which chapter you can score marks, number one. Which chapter you understand well, and which chapters where you don't make a mistake. Which chapters are asked much in the exam. So this you can learn first, nothing wrong in it. But if you learn some chapters, four chapters you like well, 10 chapters are there. The problem of what happens, you begin to hate the other chapters. So what you do is try to work out the chapters which are not thorough first. For example, you're doing some math sum at 9 o'clock in the night or 8 o'clock in the night after night dinner. So if you go on work out chapters which are thorough till 9:30 you enjoy. And 9:45 you take a chapter which you're not thorough, you feel like closing the book and lying, going to the bed. So what I suggest to you is do the chapters which are not thorough first. You must face things like that. Even in teaching also when I go for home tuitions, so what I do is I teach one chapter which is very easy to make the student happy. The next one I'll make a hard chapter. So sometimes they become dull. Some students even cry. So this is very hard, sir. It's very hard to come. It won't come in one or two sums. She'll say that chapter was good, sir. That topic was good. Within 10 minutes, they understood. Within three sums, they understood. All won't be lollipops, I told you. See how to work out this chapters. That is the main thing. So these are things you have to think. So think. Excuse me 1 minute. And if you have any doubts or ideas, you can tell me. Abhishek Raj, what you are planning to take? Oh, you're in 10th standard. Okay, okay. I don't know what's your future plan. Uh, Generally, boys goes for math, physics, and chemistry. Their ideas are very, think their dreams are very big. Most they say I want to go this, that, aeronautics, visual communication, and thing. Those things are good because they want to make fast money. So they want to come up in life very fast. I want to become a pilot, an aircraft engineer. On the other day, one of the student who came in the chat asked one question: how can I go abroad? Probably you want to go abroad immediately. And I told him that you cannot go abroad immediately. What should I study to go abroad? Because there's a general tendency and a notion that if you go abroad, you can earn well. That's partially true. It's not wrong, we can say, unless until if you do some good courses and some business you have thing. But abroad you can earn faster. That's no bargain in that. So I was telling about some courses for you. Mostly like even small nursing courses are very much valued abroad. A male nurse or a female nurse in medical field is nursing, radiographer. These kind of courses are very popular. Physiotherapy, not only doctor, even short time courses or more like 1 year courses, 2 years courses. These courses are much popular abroad. You can go. So like that, you can ask questions which is not continuous studies also about your future, about your environment, about your difficulties, about your weakness. Everything you can ask. There's nothing wrong in it. We'll give you some suggestions and ideas based on experience and based on what you say. You can also interact with us and tell me where we are not up to the mark, where this chart can be improved. This live charter speech, what we give it, even topics you can give us. It will be very interesting to know. So certain topics we'll try to start from next week. A general idea, for example, Dhruv came, Dhruv Rajkumar. I don't know what happened to him. He was asking about square root. So I just explained to him about square root and he gave it actually. So like that, full square root. What is a square root? General idea. Any topic in a maths is like a ocean. So what we teach or what you learn is like a tip of the iceberg. So if you go higher and higher in the class, you can learn it. Algebra also it starts from third standard, fourth standard, everything like atoms thing and all. So what you learn about atom, subatomic particles, proton, neutrons, and electrons. So don't think that's the end of the atom. Protons, neutrons, and there are lots and lots in atomic theory, nuclear theory. So everything's like a ocean. So what you have learned is like just a handful of sand in the sea. She has got full sand. You just take a handful of sand. That's what we have learned. That proverb holds good even for a teacher, even for a doctorate. See, we may be graduates, postgraduates, doctorates. So what we learned is much lesser in the knowledge world, in this world. So Abhishek Raj, about examination point chapters. So you split into two types, easy and hard. So try to learn one easy chapters which you like, which you're confident, and try to learn one hard one. Hard in the sense some topic needs concentration, more effort, more sums to be worked out. So you do one here and one there. If you take only easy topics, when you come to the harder ones, out of 10 topics, four you like it, then the six you won't get it up. You'll be feeling irritated. The mind won't accept. That's a human mindset. So try to learn what harder and easier ones. Okay, and try to attend tests and all. And coming to students, test is very important. And maths is used in various fields: interior designing, fashion designing, and cooking and baking. All this contain maths. If you want to bake a cake, the time is very important. Some chef keeps minutes and seconds also. Speed, Olympic Games. You've seen Olympic Games running and all. In Olympic Games, you've seen in the TV, you get, suppose if it's a marathon race, you get hours, minutes, seconds, and 1/10 of a second. See, 1 second will be divided to 10 seconds. That's called 1/10 of a second. You can see in the Olympic Games in the TV. So, see, one, two, three. So between 2 and 3 seconds, there will be 10 seconds. Tuck, 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 it will come, 10 will come. So this is called 1/10 of a second, which they use in running to improve on the running, the Olympic, because sometimes both will be very competitive. Two athletes they run very neck and neck. So sometimes they go to 1/10 of a second also, which is very thing which you can do it actually. So maths is mostly learnt. The challenge of maths, the spirit of maths, the interest from maths comes mostly from outside world when you do it. So after for a topic, you can particularly get it and go and learn it outside. So I was telling a simple example of adding two minuses. Three minus you have to add. Minus 10, minus 20, minus 30 is minus 50. I was telling an example. You're going out for a shop. You're losing 10 rupees. Losing means minus. Loss means minus. Array, I lost 10 rupees. You're coming home and taking 20 rupees. And again you're losing minus 20. So total you lost minus 10 plus minus 20 is minus 30. And again you're coming home and taking 30 rupees. And put the 30, that also losing. Then you find out there's a hole in the pocket. So totally you lost 50 rupees, minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, sorry, 60 rupees. So it's add all and put minus. And like this, some practical examples, simple examples you find in various mathematical topics, which you can try to learn and understand. And try to watch in the school. School is a basic knowledge. And don't think maths won't come. There are a lot of persons, Isaac Newton life, and like a lot of people are there who are just weak in studies. Abdul Kalam has said they just came up in Lal Bahadur Shastri, he came from a village. So everything was like thing like that. So you can ask some doubts, you can put in the comment box. If you like this channel, you can subscribe it, you can press the bell button for any future uploads. And also Google Meet for 8th to 12th, any syllabus. If you want the whole syllabus or whole book to be done, extra some correction and all, you can join in that. You can contact our email, home tuitions also said, but now we have stopped it because of the pandemic in Bangalore East. And so you can just give us something. So Millennium KD and Visual here 101. So you can just tell us or give us a feedback. So you must be more thorough with this kind of dealing with the students or a group. So your knowledge and your wisdom will help us most. You can help us in this thing. Deepak Samsandra, is there statement sums in statistics? Statement sums are there. It's not 100%. We can't say it's there. It's not there. It's there. But majority of them are actually tableau columns, finding standard deviation, variance, a lot of things. So there are statement sums, which you have to prepare the tableau column. There are sums in statistics. And statistics comes only if we do commercial mathematics, accounts, commerce group. Uh, Even in higher studies, calculus also got sums in business fields, calculus, a change in profit, like those things. Uh, so statistics also, think, even graphs comes in statistics, more graphs comes there. But one thing with statistics is graphs, you get more marks than the other syllabus, like histogram, frequency polygon. A lot of graphs you get higher marks. You get it actually. And if you have any doubts, you can think also you can do some projects. Projects also gives the idea of everyday life. Simple projects you can do. Keeping a timer thing. A lot of projects they give to school exhibitions. So students from 6th to 10th, they keep a lot of projects. Two or three, they join together and keep a project. Mostly it will be physics-based projects or chemistry-based projects. I think even maths-based projects are there. You can work on that. And in marketing field also, you find what? Maths. Marketing means you need to be a big businessman thing. What group is good after 10th standard? Abhishek Raj. It is actually what your interest is. If you want to become a doctor or if you want to go to the medical field, you can go to science group where maths marks are not taken into account for joining medical or entrance. If you want to become like marine engineer, aeronautical engineer, and all, you go for maths group, computer engineer, and all. If you want to become a chartered accountant or cost accountant, you, you can go for commerce group, or like visual communication is there. A lot of groups are there. Every group, no group is good or bad. You can see even philosophy is a good group if you have an interest on it. Philosophy thing and all comes under counseling. Nowadays, counseling is very much needed. So a simple topic like philosophy counseling that is very important. Many needs counseling because of this COVID-19, the pandemic. Yesterday also it came in paper. There are a lot of funds called. Because it's social science, social work, these kind of people, they counsel persons. Not only doctors, there are lower level counselors whom they give counseling based on their various studies. So it depends upon what you want to join, what you're interested, but you should have an aim. Aim comes in three different ways. One by the student itself, one by parents, one by watching others. One student asked me, I want to become an actor. That and all you can't say as an aim, and that and all is something what thing. So I want to become like so and so. Studies is different. These kind of so there are institutions teaching acting in Adyar and all thing, but yet these kind of studies are very important. You have to learn. Those institutions are thing also popular, but yet those things deals with basic things still to understand. You have to work out. Then you can go to anything, any field you can go. So what you like, you must know it. I mean, like thing, visual communication. Many like nowadays visual communication, photography, and other things. You can learn 3D effects and other things. You can learn. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. Thing. So still there are some 15 minutes to go. You can ask some doubts. Thing. Abigail, hope you understood that problem in histogram. Histograms are nothing but blocks, vertical blocks, joined in a graph. Generally, the x-axis is called a class interval, and the y-axis is called a frequency. It may vary also. Histograms, weight and cost. Weight will be the thing x and cost will be the y-axis. So some kind of sums, practical sums also comes in histograms. So you have to at least work out some 6 problems. And if you join the midpoints of those blocks without drawing the histograms, it is called a frequency polygon. And while drawing a histogram, zero is a must. If a sum starts with 5 means you must start with a zero, and after 1 centimeter you can put 5 to 10, 10 to 15. If a sum starts from 100 to 100, you must start with a zero, leave a gap. Gap is called by the word break, whatever name you want to call it. Then you start 100 to 100. If a sum starts with 1000, 2000, 2000, 3000, 3000, 4000, so that zero is compulsory. Leave a gap or a break and start with 1000, 2000. And you can work out some 6 sums is very important. If you work out 12 sums, you can teach others. The more you work, the more you become thorough. I think you understood it, the histogram. But generally, as a teacher, understanding any concept comes only if you get marks. So in the exam paper, you must get the full mark. Hope you'll get the full marks. Then it will reflect on the teacher, whether it's a class teacher or a tuition teacher or a parent, whatever it is. So I wish, hope and pray that in the histogram question will have a 2 mark question, 1 mark question, and even a graphical question. So at least minimum, I think you'll have some 8 marks or maximum 13 marks. So I hope you'll get the full 13 marks in the question paper. It's very easy being a pictorial form. So you try to work out some government question papers, especially when test comes, you try to work out. Because the many complained, the parents make this, they are doing well in the house, they are doing well in the class. Teachers say, she answers well in the class, she answers the question, but in the exam, they collapse. Exam fear, environmental fear. I don't know what happens in the exam. So in the exam, you have to work out those things. Just like you have to watch the question paper and work out. Don't see here and there. A bus driver or a train driver just sees the road. A train driver sees a signal and just goes directly. Like that in the exam, you have to see the question paper and work out. There's no concept of fear. You have to just work out. That's all. Only one thing, you see the question paper. I gave you some ideas. If you're an intelligent student, you can work out one, two, three, four, five. Out of 100, only some 30% can do that, not even 30. If you're above average, average, below average, weak 100, first do the sums which are thorough, but put the numbers correctly. And then try to do the thing harder ones. But don't follow this in the final exam. Then what will happen? The easier ones you'll work out thoroughly, harder ones you'll get stuck up. So what you do, it's better to do one after another all the questions. That's why the teachers say, because you must get high marks. So nowadays it's a competitive world. Everybody gets high marks. People from rural areas, village areas. See, in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and all in state syllabus, the first result come. Who is first means that comes from Devanagari, Tumkur, and all. In Tamil Nadu, it comes from Madurai, Tirunelveli. Those students, they work hard. In urban areas, in cities and all, they are more confident. Now I have studied. That is enough. Self-satisfaction. I have seen in rural areas students studying even till the last minute, till the exam, writing till the last minute. But I'm not telling that you study till the last minute. But it's nothing harm in going through the formulas because time you can't earn back. A time lost is lost. Many students have told me, Ayo, I want to see that formula in the last minute. I left it. That formula got stuck up. Hardly 1 minute you can see what a formula will take some few seconds to go through. Nothing harm in seeing the last minute. But theories you don't study in the last minute. What is acceleration? Don't try to study in the last minute before the exam. Even what you learned, it will collapse. That is not advisable. Some formulas you can see in the last minute because a lot of formulas in 12th standard. Calculus formulas. Integration has got more than 50 to 80 formulas. Trigonometric formulas, algebraical formulas, logarithmic formulas, exponential formulas, conversion of formulas. Lots of formulas are there in higher classes. So nothing harm in seeing in the last minute. These kind of rural students, they put in the TV before the exam. Mostly they show urban areas and rural areas. Today, 12th exam is starting. The news will come. So 8 lakhs are writing, 5 lakhs are writing. I've seen in rural areas, the students are seeing till the last, sitting under a tree. Mostly in urban areas, they'll be chatting. Of course, some 50% they'll watch, they study till the last, but many will be chatting, just discussing certain things. Nothing harm in discussing a point, but it's so till last. That's what I told you. Time lost is time gone, which can't earn it back. Afterwards, I knew that formula I wanted to see. I thought. I heard students in my 30 years experience telling, sir, just 5 minutes before the exam, I saw the sums. First, I hated the sum. 5 minutes before the exam, I was just going through some 2 or 3 times. I wrote the sum, sir. I got the answer, sir. Hardly 10 minutes before, I hated the sum. But anyway, I had a fear that some may come. So I went alone, stood under a tree. 3 or 4 times I went through the sum. I was slowly able to. Anything, if you work out 3 times, it will come out. That is why when I teach part 1, part 2, part 3. Aisha, home cooking. Welcome. So hope you can give some ideas to the children, and also you can give us some ideas, make this live discussion more interesting. Thing. Thank you very much for joining us. My wife skills with home cooking. She has got a channel. You can see it. Also, we got a channel called Excel Math Study. We uploaded some videos. A lot of sums are there. Some topics only we have done it. We are planning to do it. Now these kind of online concepts are coming very faster. So don't forget. So I was telling about maths in everyday life, why maths is very important. So try to learn maths mostly for in higher class and holidays. Try to work out during holidays. You can take a help of a coaching center, but to find out which is good. Not necessarily the coaching center should be near your house. Even if it's little far, you can go. 11th or 12th student. I think they're giving bus passes and all, but I don't know whether they're giving the holidays. They're giving passes for going to library and all, so you can go and learn and study and come. Because time lost is lost. So during holidays, many want to enjoy. They want to go for skating. They want to go for playing football. This that. There's nothing in harm. No, you can go to that one. It's better to learn something at least, because once the school starts, they go fast. You can't understand. I used to tell my students 10 months will pass away like 10 seconds or 10 minutes, I'll say. When I join a tuition, I'll say, now it is June. So don't think it is June. 10 months will pass away like 10 seconds or 10 minutes. Look, this year 2020, now only it started. These lockdowns, that one, this one, 6 months has gone. I think this will pass away. This will come fast, sitting in the lockdown. So time will pass off very fast. So don't waste time. Studies are very important. You are not going to learn 12th standard maths or 10th standard maths in 40 years. You are not going to learn physics, chemistry in 30 years. Once you go to job, once you get married, once you become a family man. Studies has got a time. Everything has got a time. Till some 22 years or 23 years, you can study. Of course, you can do PhD, you can study some extra things, but studies has got a particular time. So my humble request is work out hard. There's age to study. There's a time where mind blends. Afterwards, I have seen people studying. Think, uh, sorry, YouTube advice, madam. I'm not so well versed with Hindi. You can put in English, so it will be better. Okay, madam, no problem. And regarding the things time I was telling, and you can actually study during holidays. I was telling, check out and then answer this. And so about thing, certain age only you can study. Childhood age, drawing and all comes if you're in childhood. LKG, UKG, many parents teach the children how to draw, send some courses for drawing. The hand won't blend. In 11th standard, when Bayer comes, many struggle for drawing. So that's the age to study everything. Cycle. If you want to learn a cycle, there's age to study. After 40 years also, you can learn a cycle, but you'll have a fear. You can't be a professional driving the main roads. Everything has got age. If you want to learn an instrument, musical instrument, there's age to study. A.R. Rahman said he studied in a particular age when he was young. Now he's a master, a professional in it. You can learn anything in 50 years or 60 years. Nothing harm in that. But you lost your prime age. So there's a age to study. So try to study in that particular age. We welcome those things. So any doubts or clarifications you can ask or you can put in the comment box. If you like this, you can subscribe to the channel, press the like button and also bell button. We're putting a lot of uploads and also Google Meet. Um, we are starting tomorrow for a 12th standard. This is the first time we are going to this kind of online studies. Home tuitions is far better one-to-one like a Guru Sishya. I used to say home tuitions is like a Guru Sishya thing. But many say, I think online tuitions are also good. We can put more PowerPoints, this and that. But slightly, I think there's one or two plus points in home tuitions. Anyway, I mean, I don't want to go for an argument or debate whether home tuitions or online tuition. I don't want. Studying in a school, something like a home tuitions, that varies then with an online tuition thing. The environment in a home tuition or a school is different from an online tuition. But I'm not against online tuition. That's also good. You can learn more also, more from school or home tuitions. Extra, you can also learn. Thing. Nowadays, these kind of online tuitions are starting from kindergarten section. The Karnataka and government has allowed, so it has given various times for studying, but they say the eyes will get spoiled if student studies for more hours. And correction and all is problem. Where he went wrong. For the teachers also, they had to spend more time. That's the main thing. So work hard this age to study. You can burn the midnight oil and study. You can study till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. After 40 years, you can't till 1 o'clock. You become tired and old. So this is a young prime age. So you got the full spirit or the full strength or the full power where you can study. That you can use for education. If instead of using for roaming, many are roaming. If in this lockdown, many vehicles and cycles were seized by the police. And the police is simply, why you come out to meet? They say simply we're roaming. We feel boring. So instead of wasting your energy in unwanted things, you can just spend time. Similarly, also watching videos, thing and all. There should be a limit. Everything should have a limit. Studies also will put timetable. Maths, so much time. Physics. First, you just put a timetable chart for 1 hour, then make it to 1.5 hours. Like that, you can slowly increase on the thing. Deepak Samson Raj asked one question nowadays. How is corona problem there in Karnataka? Corona is spreading all over India. The lockdown is the prime minister has put lockdown in all over India. Corona problem is spreading, and because of the public, we have to be careful. We have to obey the government instructions. Hygiene, washing your hands. They say corona is there or not. Corona goes out, also you must have that habit of washing the hands and your what feet and all when you come inside the house. In those generations, they used to keep the bucket of water or a tap outside. They should wash and come only. Nowadays, gone. We come inside with a shoe or thing and all. They say we came by a bike, we came by a car, we didn't walk in the road. So slightly they come with a shoe. That's not advisable, but it depends upon their mentality. So in the case of question of corona, you have to be maintain your hygiene, wash your hand. Mainly, you have to keep the social distance. Whether it's a known person, friend, and you have to wear the mask regularly, especially when you're going out, and try to avoid crowded places. And young students don't go out if you're below 21 or anything. The parents are going out means they have to go and earn. They have to support you. They have to feed you. So that is different. You're just taking a bike and roaming, and then parents has to pay the fine for you. The police sees the bike, then they have to pay the fine. So the corona is spreading everywhere, all over India, all over the world. It's still not controlled. In fact, they say it's in second wave is coming. We don't know. So everything they're trying their best to find a vaccine to control it. So wish, hope, and pray it'll come soon. So don't forget this basic instructions of keeping hygiene things, maintaining hygiene in your personal life. So and it's already it's going to become 6. So tomorrow also will come till Friday 5 to 6. You can come, tell your friends, neighbors, and well wishers, and they can also join. A lot of organization, institution, and groups have joined this. In fact, we are very happy, but please let us know. You must be having more ideas, more knowledge than us. You can give us some ideas how to improve this live chat talk and tell us some suggestions if there's some drawbacks, thing and all. Thank you very much for joining. Keep yourself safe in this pandemic days. Don't go out unnecessarily. If it's necessary, go out and try to join us tomorrow and try to inform your friends also. And if you want, you can say something before you close it, or you can put in the comment box. You can join with us. Thank you.